Coming to you from the studios of Ogtv here in Ogtv. My name is Carlos, I will be your anchor. And today, there are so many issues confronting us as a nation, as individuals, states, even up to the very least of the grassroots. And is it from the security, economy, education? Mention it. Today we will say that Nigeria, that we used to know being the giant of Africa, perhaps it still remains the giant, maybe in population and size, but in so many other things, there are so many challenges we are facing right now. And that's why we want to look at some of these issues confronting us as a nation, and also provide some solutions to some of this. And that's why I have three heads in the studio with me here on the program, and together we shall be looking at the state of the nation. First, I have an economist in the house, definitely he would assist us in the economic side of this discussion today. Dr. Mukail Ademuyiwa, you are welcome.
Thank you.
All right. We also have in the house a political elite, I will call him, and has been a member in the Ogun State Hallowed Chambers before, Honorable Dakwade. It's nice having you with us.
Thank you very much.
And we have the chairman of the Correspondence Chapel in Ogun State of Nigeria Union of Journalists, Mr. Razak Ayinla. He's the Southwest editor of Business Day. I hope I got all the information right.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
All right. State of the nation is what we are actually looking at. And let me possibly bring up this discourse from the side of someone who I would say has been a neutral observer as a journalist. And I would just want this very brief overview of the state of Nigeria nation. How will you describe this present situation?
It has been good, bad, and ugly. Because if you look at the whole thing, if you talk about the issue of insecurity, kidnapping of Chibok girls in 2014, April, are still within our memory very well. We have the Dapchi, we have Dembele, we have Kankara, and mentioning the kidnapping cases in this country. And it's as if we have not gotten it right. For those that have been kidnapped, we see our people still in the den of kidnappers. And at the same time, if you look at the security situation, one want to query the security architecture of this nation. Now, why do we have these cases in our hands every time? Then we still have Boko Haram; they are still very well abandoned, and we still have farmer clashes everywhere. Then, if you have to talk about the economy, that is no good area, because the level of underemployment, as at the last time the Bureau of Statistics said that we have about more than 23 million unemployment rates. So you want to look at it, talk about the policies. We now have more or less a one-party system where we have a lot of defection from one party to the other. And of course, this keeps recurring, and we don't know the end of it anyway.
Okay, all right. Honorable, from an observer's angle, Razak has given us, you are a politician, and we are in a democratic system of governance. Before the advent of this Fourth Republic, the clamor by Nigerians generally was that democratic governance would be better than military and all of that. We are about 20 years straight into democracy in Nigeria. Are you satisfied with the present state of our nation?
Definitely I'm not satisfied, and an average Nigerian cannot be satisfied. But despite that, in democracy, no matter how bad it is, it's still better, than even the best dictatorship. I don't know what is happening. Maybe because, our present head of state, the military he has a military background. That is why
we have presidents. We don't have head of state.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Yes, the present president, maybe because he has a military background. But even if we want to say that, OBJ came in from the military, and we knew how he ran this government. Presently, honestly, nobody is satisfied. I am personally not satisfied. I'm sad. I'm not happy. No, see what that says. See the security situation in this country today, and you have a man with military background as the president. So what do we want to say? It is extremely bad. But even despite that, I think we just need to wait for another 2 years and then find maybe a better alternative, to head this government.
Okay. Yeah, Doctor. Well, maybe the perspective I would want you to make your intro here will possibly be revolving around the nation and its economy. How would you describe it?
Well, the economy is bad, but don't forget Nigeria is at war.
Nigeria is not at war.
Boko Haram itself is war. For the past 10 years now, we have been having this problem. And as long as the focus is on that Boko Haram, it will be very difficult for us to get it straight. Let me just take it from this angle. Northeast still serve as the basis or basic origin of major food in Nigeria, coming from there. And now, most of them cannot go to the farm. The problem there, schooling and others, have been disturbed. So there is no way to not affect our economy seriously. And that coupled with the fact that people in the administration now have not got it right. I'm sorry to use that word. As yesterday, Ngozi Iweala was saying that our contribution to the world trade was just less than 1%, that is 1/3 of 1%. If Nigeria is contributing 0.33% to the total world trade, and in Africa where we are said to be giants, we are only having 15% contribution of the total trade, and that 15% is only from the whole monoculture economy which we have been crying all these days. As a monocultural economy, that whole which we have, we are not making best use of it. We are selling it and buying it back. So it's a big problem. Our economy is down. There is nothing we can say about it. Dollar as of today is 382, pounds is 657.
Official rate.
Officially. I'm talking officially.
Black market is our 481.
That's it.
So you see that there is a problem everywhere, and there is nothing produced in Nigeria without foreign components.
All right. Let me quickly add this to my question to you. Recently, the federal government embarked on several massive infrastructural development. Rail system from Kano into Niger. We have just also recently had the flag off of the Calabar-Maiduguri rail line. Some other road projects are there.
Kano-Maradi.
Even last week, the Senate Committee on Aviation came to Ogun State, looking at the possibility of pushing the cargo airport and all of that. If you look at all these efforts, are they not efforts that could be recognized as efforts to bring or stabilize our economy?
Okay, let me just even add this one. The Senate has approved that if Lagos Ota Road is not included in the next budget, they will not approve the budget. That is a bonus to us anyway. But then, all those things are necessary, right? But they are not enough. In economics, we say first order condition and the other condition. If those things are available and the state of security in the nation is as it is now, nobody will come.
So security
is essential. You want to put you see, the portfolio, the type of investment we have in Nigeria now is portfolio investment. not real investments that can affect us, give us the real economy. People are coming with portfolio investment, which will not assist us.
Okay. Honorable, now, 20 straight years of democratic rule. In a presidential system, we have 3 tiers of government: the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. So far, how will you describe the complementary roles of each of these tiers in terms of adding value to development?
If I have to start, let me start at the federal level.
Okay.
And my position is we are not getting it right here. Especially the president, you see the relationship between the legislature and the executive, you know, they are supposed to be check and balances. There are supposed to be checks on the executive. But if you see the National Assembly, we have it as at today. Will anybody say they are giving a proper check on the executive? No. I don't even believe they are actually representing, you know, their constituents, because they take a lot of decisions without even coming home to ask their constituents their position. When it's unfortunate we continue to deteriorate in our political system. When we came in, you know, 1999, 2003, across board, we were just coming in after the military administration. But I think we performed better than subsequent administration. Even in Ogun State here, if people can still continue to say the set we had in 1999 are about the best up till now, then it's unfortunate. You're supposed to have people coming in, and unfortunately in Ogun State and even at the federal level, the importance of returning legislators, we don't know. They just do one term, they feel after the second term they want to send you away. When in developed countries, you can see a legislator staying in the chambers for 30, 40 years because you develop there. And by being there, this issue of having to dance to the tune of the executive, you know, will be reduced. But in our case, that is not the case. So if I have to say, even at the national and state level, honestly, we are not getting it. And when you get to the local government level, that is completely dead. The governors are not allowing the local government areas to function now. And the reason, I don't know. Federal will talk, for the state governments to implement, it will be a problem. Go and see how much each, for instance, I know my own local government, how much they collect as revenue from the federation account. But if you ask them, they will say the first line charges are taken and so something has taken, and at the end of the day, nothing is moving. And it's the same thing, you know, across all the local governments. So I don't know whether it's the presidential system we are having that is giving us problems, or those that, you know, continue to be in the government.
Now, so some people adduce some of these issues and raised to issue of constitutional lacuna. And if you have legislature that has been running and that knows what they're supposed to do, why is it difficult for the state assembly or national assembly to amend some of these laws that will not allow this presidential system where we should have the 3 levels of governance independent?
Thank you very much. You see, I have continued to say it, and I will continue to say that the 1999 Constitution can never help us in this country. In fact, I don't shy away from saying that it is fraudulent, because a constitution where we don't, for instance, when we were coming into government in 1999, we never saw the constitution until after our inauguration. And see the preamble will say, we the people of Nigeria, when we didn't know anything about it. Honestly, our problem is the constitution. And there is no way they will continue. You cannot build something on nothing. That constitution, from the word go, is a fraud. And anything you continue, they will just continue to patch and patch. And that is why, since 1999 up till now, they have continued to amend the constitution, spending a lot of money without any positive thing coming out of it. I think what we need to do is to discard that constitution and get an actual people's constitution.
Okay, all right. Now, Razak, during President Goodluck Jonathan, he had an assemblage of so many heads across Nigeria. I think during President Olusegun Obasanjo, something similar also came up with the intention of fine-tuning or finding a way around these constitutional lapses and all of that. But beyond that, the assemblies, either at the national or state, they also have constitutional rights to amend this constitution. Why are we finding it difficult? If everybody has been saying that 1999 constitution is not appropriate for us, what do you think is the problem in amending constitution that we all consider that is not good for us?
Because the politicians or political class, they lack a political will to do that. And in as far as they don't do that, we are still going to be faced with problems. The issues has been raised, and of course we continue to be raising the issue that the constitution was given to us. It was a military baby that was given to all of us. So why do you have to give us constitutions when you know that we have over 200 million people that will have to respect the pamphlets called constitution? Whether we like it or not, we don't really have input of different professionals, because what they have just done, the national confab, whether Obasanjo or Jonathan, it was a joke because people were not really represented. You cannot do padi national confab. If you have to do real confab, you have to call everybody from every stratum of society. Lawyer will be there, journalists will be there, engineers will be there, market women will be there, everybody from civil society, everybody must be there, because it has impact on everybody. So you cannot write constitution for, after all, like M. Abiola would say, you cannot shave my head without my presence. So everybody must be involved. I want to support the Honorable Dapo, that they ran probably the best senator, because those that were elected at that time to represent us from different constituencies, they really knew what they went there to do. But this time around, a large number of our assembly members, national assembly members, they only go there for political sake. A large number of them, ask them, how many of them have to introduce any bills on the floor of National Assembly or State Assembly, as the case may be? None. You will see them that very few of them will come up with robust debates and the bill. So it means that they did not really plan for what they went there to do. They only go there to want the shares and probably get their own shares of the national cake at the end of the month. So I don't think they are really doing what they are elected to do, to go and do there, because they have the power. According to the section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution, they have that power, the chapter 4, that this deals with lawmaking. The first power they have is to make law. While they are making new laws, they also amend some 40 laws. They are not doing that. A lot of obnoxious law are in Nigeria. A lot of laws that needs to be repealed are there. We got it from military government, from military mentality, and we continue to be practicing it as if we are in military government. So they should try to rejig the whole constitution we call the grand norm, because that is what we use. And in law class, we debate on this, that this must be rewritten, this must be amended for the benefit of Nigeria. But it's a pity those that we have are not doing anything in that regard. Maybe they are benefiting from it because executive are the largest beneficiary of that constitution. Maybe that's the reason.
Perhaps that's what will bring this my next question to you. I recall during the last National Assembly, the then Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki, at some point raised his voice that there are so many laws they have passed, or there are so many acts they have passed for presidential assent, but the president just did not sign anything. In a situation like this, what is the alternative when the legislature has actually done the needful and the executive is not attending signature?
From with all due respect to former President Saraki, for him, he understands what is required for them to bypass the presidential assent, even if he doesn't do that. But it's a pity that they will be divided along the party lines. They will be divided along the monetary or materialism. So, because it is very clear in the constitution that if the president withhold his assent in some cases, then you need to 2/3 of the both National Assembly members to do that. So, what are they doing to ensure that the National Assembly members from reps to Senate are really lobbied and really involved in this legal mechanism to ensure that even if the president does withhold his assent, he doesn't want to sign because of his own selfish interest, then they can go ahead, in as much as the bill will help Nigeria grow. They can go ahead and ensure that they rally around all the members, 2/3 of the 360 and 109, to ensure that they bypass. But they will not do that because they are also divided along. But you could see the defection galore. That tells you that that's a typical Nigeria. No party ideology. Nobody is known as progressive. Nobody is known as conservative. They are just jumping from one ship to the other, and that tells you that what they really want is materialism. It's not to serve people.
All right. Now, Honorable, let me come back to you again so that I don't miss out on this one. Now, if we have a party system in a democracy like ours, and at times you see that certain decisions of the government are more, tilt towards more of ethnic protection rather than maybe party interest or national interest. How do we, in this modern day politics, in this Nigeria of today, how do we address this kind of situation so that the national interest will take precedence?
My brother, I don't think there's a way we can address it until this constitution is amended. That's one. Number two, when you look at the composition of the National Assembly, you know that there's no way all these tribal and ethnic sentiments will not come into whatever decisions they take there. Because look, for instance, look Lagos State and Kano State. Initially, they had 20 local governments. Kano State today, I think, is having about 44. The Gawa is out of Kano, having maybe 40. Just let us stay at that too. So if a representative is coming from Lagos State, you have 3 senators from the state. How many House of Reps? Consider how many you want to have from Kano. Consider how many you want to have from the Gawa. Now talk of the whole states in the north, central, okay, let's say the 3 regions in the north compared to the south. So there is no decision you want to take at the National Assembly. If they want to defeat it, that tribal whatever will come up. And that is one of the reasons, like Razak was saying now, when the president decides to hold his assets on a particular issue, the National Assembly has the right to veto. And this is about 1 or 2 occasions during this Saraki's, as good as Saraki's tenure was, there were 1 or 2 occasions when they were supposed to veto the presidential asset, but they would just dance around it because they find it difficult to get the required number to veto. And who suffers? The people.
Is that not because they are in the same party?
No. Apart from party, there are certain occasions parties do not come in. But when it comes to the matter of number, and politics is a game of number. There's no way you want to put anything on the floor except it is going to favor our brothers from the northern side. It will defeat it easily. And don't forget that even some of us from the southern side, because of our own selfish interests and political ambition, we now want to tilt along, even where something is wrong. You know it is wrong. We want to tilt along that. And that is why it is difficult for most of them to return to the house. Because if you do the property and you report to your people occasionally, you meet your constituents and tell them what is happening and tell them your position. Even if it's a minority position, your people will be ready to send you there. But it is when you hear the minority will have their say, the majority will have is all fake. Because when the minority brings in an idea that is to the best interest of Nigeria, and the majority will say no, and that majority will have their way, who is suffering? Nigeria.
Nigerians. Okay. Doctor, now, in this situation we find ourselves now. Fine, we talked so much about the inter-governmental relationship and all of that. But let's now look a little bit beyond the democracy itself. Let's look at some other areas of our national life. And this time around, I'll push in the direction of education. Now, for most of last year, it was strike at the tertiary institutions. This year, the non-academic staff union have also raised their voice. ASU is already also threatening again this week. Now, you go to the level of secondary schools. Like Razak said in his opening remarks, that even in secondary schools, we now have courtesan, and even in primary school. Recently, there have been reports of different kinds of misbehavior of students in secondary schools. Where do we go from here? What do we do? What should we do? Or where did we get it wrong? I don't know. So many things are just coming to my head on this. Where did we get it wrong? And what can we do to remedy the situation?
I continue to say this. There is no unemployment in Nigeria with the graduates. But the problem we have in Nigeria is we are not training the right graduate for the right job.
Okay.
Our education system needs thorough overhauling. The system now, look at what are they taking in our primary school in those days. Talk about our own primary school days. I didn't go to nursery school, I didn't go to primary school, maybe I was fortunate to have attended pure primary school, where teachers were committed. I attended public school, secondary school, where teachers were committed. Public universities, where lecturers were committed. Today, where is the commitment? Nigerian education curriculum is due for changing. We have, I'm sorry, as an educationist, we have sat down, overhauled the curriculum, nothing is coming out of it. Our education is still theoretical, and by now, our education is supposed to have gone practical. A primary school student must know how to produce something, at least one thing among many things is using, and they must develop interest in producing that thing. At the secondary school level, they should be able to say, I can do this, I can do that. Technicians must be coming out from our secondary schools. And at the university level, our graduates, especially in the area of accounting, should be able to develop accounting packages. Not just saying, I'm a management accountant. We should be able to come up with packages in computer. Our engineers should be able to use computer and use. So we need, everything needs overhauling. There's nothing like, even before Koro, it's not Koro that is our problem. There has been problem before Koro, and nobody is addressing the issue. Look at the fathers. I'm saying it. This year Onabanjo will be the best government in Ogun State. They have seen it coming. If you look at it in 1979, our schools were given technical workshops where we were given all these cell-bearing tools. Talk of it. I learned carpentry in school, in secondary school. And today, my children will still look at me, that are you getting me now? So, by and large, all those things were, where are they today? What are you doing? So, they knew this thing is coming. As at that time in 1979, 1980, we must spend at least 2 hours in the garden. No school in Ogun State without school garden.
Those gardens have been, those lands have been either stolen.
Even when we were in university, GNS 101 agricultural system was still important, and we have to go to garden to work. Whether no matter what you are there to do. But today, we are not getting it right again.
Is it a problem of policy or the implementation of policies?
As at now, let me say it clearly, there is no education policy in Nigeria. Minister comes, only the education time, the only time you can talk of education policy in Nigeria was when Fafunwa was there. He was coming up with the policies. At the end of the day, Fafunwa died with his own policies and ideas. And who are the ministers today? What are they doing? They are ministering for their pockets. Because I don't see anything coming out. Just see every day new university, they are just approving universities without right curriculum. And like I said, nursery school also destroy education. When you take your children to nursery school, you are paying so much, they will not tell you that your child is not good. They are giving them marks. They are passing them out.
But many of them are also doing
80% of them are passing them up. In those days, if you fail, you are failed.
You failed, yes.
Yes.
That's it.
You fall in class 3. That time we talk about the class 3. In class 3, if you are not meeting up, you are going back to class 2 until you are able to meet up. Then they decide you are going to science, commercial, or art class. Today, students will tell you what they want to do. Even if they don't have the experience, they don't have the something to go there. Right. Technical college was working then. Where are they today?
All right. Now, Honorable, let's come back to a little bit of the new line of politics in Nigeria. Some couple of years ago, it was not too young to run policy that was pushed. The thinking was that the elderly ones possibly they are going gradually out of tune with the modern, and we should encourage the younger ones. And this, when you look at the general tone in our society today, from the old to the young, do you see the young ones as really taking over and doing the expected?
I want to think 2023 will usher in new sets of youth in this country. Okay. Honestly, the NSAS had really done a lot to open the eyes of the youth, and I think it is time for them. Honestly, I'm one of those who believe that it is time for the youth to come out and fight for political space and relevance. We cannot continue to have people, recycling people. I mean, I don't see myself, somebody asking me now to come and contest either in the House of Assembly or even House of Reps. What do I want to go and do there again? At my age, when you have very, very intelligent youths out there who have not gotten we have not even given them the opportunity. But with the NSAS, I think a lot of them, I know that a lot of them are now coming up, and I will not be surprised if by this time next year, you start seeing a lot of youth with competence, a lot of youth with character coming out to challenge the elders. And I want to assure you I'll be one of those who will be in the forefront to support them. Because when you say, you continue to tell them they are leaders of tomorrow, and for over 30 years, they are still leaders of tomorrow, when will they become leaders? So I only wish the youth themselves will gather themselves together and at least compete. You don't expect anybody to come and call you. You want to compete for space with the elders.
But some people will tell you that, even among these young elements, will also tell you that the way the present political environment is structured is such that would naturally disenfranchise some young ones because of the cost. If a party says for you to go to State House of Assembly, you have to obtain, show interest with 2 million, your ward will ask you for something, your local government, and all of that. And do you really want
to? Don't be surprised that all these ones will change in the next dispensation. You will see parties coming up with very liberal nomination fees, and they will go in there and defeat most of these big people. I have gone through the concern of some parties in the past 2-3 months, honestly, I don't see what is special in APC, PDP. Good enough, I have traveled across those two parties, and I know what I am talking about. That is why it is easy for them to cross. Not like Razak said, who are the progressives, who are the conservatives? When we were coming to government in 1999, most of us in AD were strictly progressives. We are elements from the periphery flock. And you see it in our contribution on the floor of the house. But presently, where are the progressives? I mean, how can somebody just go in through one party and then you now, I mean, within 3 months, you cross over to the other party and nothing happens? Despite the fact that the constitution makes provision for you to be recalled. But the party will not do anything. In one way, let me tell you, I know there are some parties that will be coming up very soon. That's why people say we are running a one-party state in Ogun State. I just laugh. Maybe because they don't know what is happening. They don't know what is in the offing. By the end of this year, you see some parties coming up, and it will embrace a lot of the youth who are highly intelligent. In fact, we will be surprised that so we have intelligent youth like this in this state to contest for positions. And I can tell you, from the executive to the legislatures, we are going to have a lot of them. Not even in Ogun State alone, across the state. I just came back from a workshop. They were surprised, what is this old man doing among the youth because of this workshop? Because I want to mix up with them and then give them encouragement. Just came back about 2 weeks ago. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. Razak, you belong to the further state of the rep.
And, yes, and the youth.
And the youth. Okay, yes. It's all right. And most of
the youth.
Perhaps it's also warming up for something. No problem. Anyway, from your vantage position, if you are to be asked what your opinions and suggestions would be in addressing this obvious negative trend we have in this nation, which areas of our society will you be addressing?
Youth.
Okay.
Youth is very key. Youth, now you can now try to take it down to education. Because when you have youth with right education, they can go places. When you have youth with the right technical education, they can achieve a lot. After all these people we are talking about that are still in government, they started or they joined the ship of government when they were in their 30s. Almost all of them, even in the late 20s. The like of like Obasanjo, they were in 30s. The like of Gowan, they were in late 20s and all that. So youth, we can do a lot of things, but we must coordinate ourselves, not to have misplaced priorities. Fine, you talk about the answers. We've seen the gains and we've seen the loss. The only thing we need to do is that, like Honorable Dr. Adeyemi said, youth are coming with thought force. Youth are coming with movement. And that movement, if care is not taken, can sweep away even the existing parties. So what I think youth need to do is for us to coordinate ourselves in such a way that we're ready for challenges. We're ready for new innovations to change this country. Whether we like it or not, those that they send out to attack people during election, they are youth. Those that are let's use the word, alleged kidnappers, they were youth. And of course, youth are the one that in family positions, either for good or bad. So let's now try to drop the toga of bad and now be doing good for our people. Be changing the narrative, because we can't expect all these Baba to change our narratives. We should be the one to change our narratives by telling them that we can do our things ourselves. Let's forget about we are the leader of tomorrow. No! Let's now start the leadership today so that we can reshape our tomorrow. I think that is what we just need. Basically, like Doctor said, we need to acquire the right education. It seems our educational system is obsolete and cannot produce anything good again. Let's go and overhaul the education totally. We can't. We have to end the giving approval to universities every day. Of course, we can give approval to them, but what are the quality of teaching they are dishing out to people? These are very, very, because now we have unemployable youth. That's the reason they are now looking for alternative. And what is the alternative? Yahoo, Yahoo. What is the alternative? Crime. So I think we have to end that. And by giving us the right education, we will end that and do the right thing for our country. Because we can do a lot of things. Technicians are there. They can make things happen. In fact, they can do a lot of things, but we don't give them the right platform to demonstrate their knowledge. I gave an example this morning that, okay, fine, when you say there's a lot of unemployment, but those that are trying to provide employment for themselves, what is government doing for them? Do they provide a very good ambience for them to thrive? Multiple taxations from various sectors or structure of government. We also have Omonile that will be troubling them to pay some percentage of money. Then, if you look at example of a barber who comes out on daily, comes out daily to open shop for business, he will need to buy at least 5 to 10 liters of petrol on daily basis. If he is buying at 170 naira, look at how much money he needs to spend to buy 10 liters per day. 170, 1,700. If you multiply it for 1 month, look at how much money that has even taken away the capital on the business. It has taken away. So government should try to develop our economy holistically. Like Doctor said earlier on, that Nigeria is at war. Economically, we are at war because we can't do things rightly anymore. You are giving out employment to foreigners. When you take crude oil out, they are going to revive it and you bring it back. So you are taking away, in fact, in the petrol sector, you are giving out the employment you're supposed to generate from that sector to outsiders. So what are we doing is that you will take raw cocoa, you will take raw produce to abroad, and that is giving the employment to the country where it will be processed. Why can't we process, store, and make things happen in their country? These are very key things that we need to do if we must improve our economy. If we don't do that, we will go even poorer than that of 0.33% that we are contributing in the world.
We are not praying for that. let me turn to Doctor. Now, in recent times, the focus of government has been diversification of the economy. And a whole lot of noise were made on agriculture. I can say categorically that in our own state here presently, one of the areas of government that is actually pushing very hard is agriculture. And gradually we are also seeing some of this. But you will discover that most times, even when governments make some of these farm estates available to our youths, I want to combine this because we have been talking about youth should take over and all of that. These same youths that we are saying they don't have employment, after starting that project, a few weeks go back to that estate, they are no more there. The money given to them by government, they are not refunding. The farm they have been helped to clear and all of that, they are just lying fallow. How do we address all of this?
Well, it's not the fault of the youths.
That they provided the opportunity and
no. Is the government giving them the thing serious? Let me ask that one. You see, unfortunately, I'm in this industry. I'll say unfortunately because I know everything about agric industry.
You might have to be visible with that.
Now, let me ask you, if the government is giving them land,
yes,
100,000 or 200,000 to go to the farm, for how many birds? They will tell you they have given them 100,000, as if that is a money to do.
Okay.
They will use the money to eat and go back to town.
Why?
Because it's not enough. 100,000 cannot keep 20,000. Let's say 200 birds. If you are having 200 birds and you are only having, let's say, 10 naira profit, you are having less than, let's say, maximum 5,000 or 10,000 naira per month as a profit. How do you survive on that? So they invest a lot of money on infrastructure for them,
Yes.
giving them nothing as working capital.
But you have just said they invested on infrastructure. That's money.
No,
in value chain, you have to also quantify that.
That money they are investing
Yes.
they need more working capital than what they are investing for them in the building house, giving them this, giving them this. If they give them the right, are you getting me now? Let the government be serious with what they are doing. Now, let me give the specific now.
Yes.
You want to raise if you want to do a farm and make profit, you need not less than 1,000 birds. Not less than 1,000 layers birds. With that 1,000 layers birds, then you have somebody that will assist as the farm assistance, because you cannot do it alone. You want to pay salary.
Yeah.
You want to give them water, you want to buy drugs and so on. To be able to do this 1,000 birds, you will need not less than 2 million naira.
Okay.
At that profit of 2 million to 2.5 million given to a youth, then you are sure that he will stay in that farm, maintain himself, and be able to grow and marry and do something. But when the government is now saying that they are giving them opportunity, they tell that they have empowered 50,000 youth with 50,000 naira. Because they will be telling you they are building the house, they are building this, they are building. Even if they don't give them the house, if they give them the tent, they will build house if they have money given to them to do the business. It will work. And it will work. But when you give them 50,000, when you give them bursary, they will raise the bed with the 50,000, sell it and go back to where they are coming from.
Doctor, what about some youths who actually started these kind of businesses from 0 naira? We have some. Even some are engaged in some vocational activities like shoemaking, like those ones that do floors and all of that, from 0. So if government it is certain, you and I will know that it is certain that government cannot fully fund this. But they are provided.
I will agree with you.
Okay.
Are you getting me now? Let's talk of Nigeria then and Nigeria now.
No, there are two different things. So.
No, I'm coming. Because let me tell you my own. In my own case, I came back to the southwest, and when I came back, I was raising pigs.
Okay. With how much? How much did you commit to that business?
Less than 10,000 naira.
Okay, go ahead.
In fact, the first loan I had, when my pigs was over 36, I had over 36 piglets, and how do I feed out my this one? So I have to go to Bank of Agric then, Agric and Commerce Industry, at Okimoson, and there was offered 10,000 naira loan, right? With all those things, I took 9,750 to the house, which I used to raise those piglets. From that piglets, I bought my first land at that's around here.
I like that your narrative.
Now that was then.
What is different now?
Now, take for instance, then there was Ogun State Hotel. I go to Ogun State Hotel with 100 naira and collect remnants.
Okay.
Every night. Are you with me now? I go to this place and get this one and get it. Paki cassava peel was free.
Please go ahead.
Cassava peel was free. Dusa was free. Nobody knows the uses of those things then. So I got them free then. Today,
they pay. You have to buy them.
So for you now to say you want to start something, even ordinary sawdust in the sawmill now is 500 naira or 200 naira per bag.
Because those ones who want to make some money.
So the cassava peel now is 500 per bag.
So what do you suggest government do? You said, okay, they should increase their capital
yes.
to 2 million.
Right. Yes, okay. That's the thing.
All right, okay.
If they want to,
but there's one key thing that I've derived from your submission, that you struggle from almost 0 kobo or 0 naira business. You approach the bank. We still have banks now. So the youth of today can still approach the bank. So
No,
that's
no,
the
no,
point.
no, no. That's our problem.
That's another problem.
That's another problem.
No, the Bank of Industry.
You don't want Bank of Industry anymore.
No, we have Bank of Industry.
The situation has changed. In those days, you go there, you see today.
Let me take words of wisdom from Honorable now. Now, state of the nation, we can see that virtually all spheres of our life, we have issues. Where do we go from here as we begin to round off?
Maybe we'll continue to seek the face of God, because it is just hopeless. Look at the security. In fact, there is no day when I read about this kidnapping and all these things, I feel so moved, because we need to put ourselves in the condition of the parents of those children. Just yesterday, here in Ogun State, 2 ladies were kidnapped.
And there's another unconfirmed one for now, that a teacher in Ogun State is also
kidnapped.
We'll wait for
what do we need to do in terms of this security? Sometime maybe last week or so, I heard our governor here saying they want to go and create a Moteku in West Senatorial District, Yewa area. So we want to put it there, and then what of Central and the East.
I think it's supposed to start.
What is happening with this our Moteku here? What is happening with the vigilante group of Nigeria which we have here? What is happening with the So Safe? In the north, and in the north you have the civilian joint task force. They are operating freely. But here we have a lot of all these paramilitary things. They are just blind follow. I mean, just this morning, I think the federal government is saying that they cannot even secure our schools. How can you say that? For goodness sake. So what is working in this country today?
So government should.
It is the responsibility of. In fact, once they say they cannot secure us, then it means they are not supposed to be there. One of the first duty, even in the Constitution, is to assure us of our security.
Well, good. It's a democratic system, so there is always time for people to decide.
Unfortunately, they will come on another. Anyway, we are waiting for them. We are going to lead the youth against them.
Razak, your parting shot.
Yeah, I think we need to not blame government totally.
Okay.
I think we all share the blame. The youth, the adults, the government, the parents, institutions, we all to be blamed. Okay. What we need to do is to stop blame game and focus to reshape Nigeria, to change the narrative for better.
All right. Yes, we should stop the blame game. We should come together to change the narrative. And we also, from my guests in the house, the youth should also know that the future lies in their hands, and they just must have to up their ante to ensure that they do the needful to address all these issues we have raised here. I want to thank my guests in the house. Dr. Ademuyiwa, I thank you so much.
Thank you.
Honorable, I also thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on the program. And Razak, I also want to thank you.
It's very pleasure.
And I want to thank our viewer out there for being part of the show today. We didn't have opportunity to have your opinions on this program today. Perhaps next week will be another time. Anyway, until next week when I come your way, I leave you in the hands of Almighty God. Bye-bye.
need the police that can respond to emergencies first.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
With good laws,
Proper funding,
Training.
And cooperation.
if it happens.
If it happens.
If it happens.
The Lenten season is here again. The People's Tally Ogtv has lined up a number of interesting programs to boost your spiritual lives during and after the 40-day Lenten period. Individuals, organizations, and corporate entities can avail themselves of the opportunity to sponsor programs such as Lenten Talk, Good Friday Church Service, Easter Sunday Service, Cantata, Easter Monday Picnic, and special church programs and services. For sponsorship details, call Jesus is Lord.
Jita-jitan akan mai noma da makiyaya, ɓatan labarin wasu, yadda wa labarin kaya, mummuna iska ne wanda baya bisarwa kowa kyau. Ba abin da za mu samu akan haifa da rashin yadda a tsakiyanmu, arewa, kudu, gabas da yamma, dukkanmu ɗaya ne, 'yan Najeriya. Dole mu zauna a cikin aminci da lumana, mu bari dakata da jitta-jitta, mu ba da zaman lafiyar damu a jihar Ogun.
Life is a precious gift from God. Cherish and protect it. Don't lose it to reckless driving. The Ogun State government is undertaking massive road construction exercises across the state, and notably among them are Shagamu Interchange to Abeokuta, Ijebu-Ode to Ekpe, and many other sites across the length and breadth of the state. Don't be in a hurry to navigate the narrow spaces that are provided for motorists as a result of road diversion. And when you overtake, ensure that your life and the lives of many other road users are not put in danger. Adhere strictly to all strategically positioned road warning signs meant to safeguard your life, because if you don't, you will be apprehended by law enforcement agents who are on the road and be made to face the penalty. Government is mindful of the inconveniences associated with road construction on motorists, but with your support, it will soon be a thing of the past. Once again, construction works are ongoing on Shagamu Interchange to Abeokuta, Ijebu-Ode to Ekpe, and other sites in the state. Drive safely. Think safety.
It's so good to have you again on this week's episode of the program Sport Pizza. Of course, you know it's the biggest the boldest, and where you get the absolute best in the ever-exciting world of sports. My name is Brownson Uwana. It was a weekend full of sports and lots of sporting activity happening this week as well. UEFA Champions League, a lot of teams crashed out last week, and then we saw, of course, the first leg of the round of 16 fixtures in the Europa League. On Thursday, we'll be giving you the second leg, and of course, all the analysis on the show. Last weekend, Cristiano Ronaldo, love him or hate him, made another record, overtaking Pelé as the highest goal scorer in world football. We'll be talking about that and much more after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, Olakunle Philip, my strike partner, makes his return to the show. Olakunle Philip, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brownson. One at top of the day to you, and it's good to be back once again to talk sports. And just like you said, a lot of sporting actions took center stage last week, and we saw so many exciting games. And I think I'm very, very excited about the game involving Leicester City and Sheffield United. When you see your fellow countryman making you proud, scoring as many as hat-trick, and of course, in the time past we've seen some players scoring hat-trick from Nigeria as well. But it's been quite a long time that we've seen a Nigerian scoring a hat-trick. So I was really very delighted when I saw our own Kelechi Iheanacho bagging a hat-trick.
It was a fantastic moment for me, even as a Nigerian.
Absolutely.
And we hope that Kelechi can replicate this form week in, week out. Now, let's start the show in full. Last week, Cristiano Ronaldo made history in a big way. Now, there have been lots of comparison between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, who is the greatest of all time. And then, sometimes when Ronaldo trends, Messi trends. When Messi trends, Ronaldo trends. But last week we saw beautiful feat, 770 career goals, overtaking one of the world iconic players, talking about Pelé. And he has sent his congratulatory message to Cristiano Ronaldo. What a feat that is for him.
Yeah, absolutely. 770 career goals, absolutely fantastic. And I remember someone coming up with an analysis for some young players who are coming up, a player like Kylian Mbappe, he has to score as many goals as possible for a certain, probably 2 decades, to be able to equal or surpass the record set by Cristiano Ronaldo. It was really amazing for him. I wasn't happy about a fortnight ago when the aspersion was being thrown at him for the
crashing out of Champions League.
The Champions League, as if he's the only player playing for the old ladies. It was really a very, very sad one. But then the record speaks volume of the achievements of Cristiano Ronaldo. Let me just take our mind back to a couple of years ago, where in Sporting Lisbon he scored 5 goals. He didn't spend much time there. And then when he got to Manchester United, he bagged in 118 goals. That was really very amazing. From Manchester United to Real Madrid, where he scored 450 goals.
Wow. Wow.
So, and right now,
and that also makes him the highest goal scorer in the history of Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, absolutely.
Overtaking their legend,
They are even missing him right now since his departure. Real Madrid has not been able to get back to that rhythm they were back then when Ronaldo was their talisman. And of course, it's really telling on them. Probably, yes, in years to come, they might begin to get the job done. But right now, they are still struggling as far as I'm concerned. And then for about 2 seasons that he has been playing for Juventus, he has scored a whopping 95 goals. 96 goals, I beg your pardon.
And that takes other players like 5-6 years to achieve.
This
guy has done that in 2 years plus.
If we begin to mention names of strikers who hasn't even scored, who has been in existence for over a decade right now, and have not been able to score as many as 200 goals, you'll be shocked. But here's Cristiano Ronaldo scoring as many as 770 goals, and immediately after eclipsing that record, he said he wants to talk about the man Edson Arantes do Nascimento, the one we all know as Pelé, that when he was growing up, he had so much about him, and he was able to watch few of his clips that he still regards him. That's why he doesn't pay too much attention as regards who is the greatest footballer in the history of football and all of that, because he sees Edson Arantes do Nascimento as one of the greatest, and probably even the greatest. So, Cristiano Ronaldo is just 36 years. We can say just
How can you see a man of 36 years scoring as many goals as, scoring over 30-something, 40 goals in a season?
Wow.
But come on, it's really a very, very good one. And from the look of things right now, he's hoping to still stay active. He said he's not going to quit football right now until probably his legs are tired, and then he will realize that.
And I tell you,
Kule,
sometimes when you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, he doesn't play like a 36-year-old. I mean, you can class him in the class of say 28, 27.
So he scored, Brownson, he scores more than those who are very young. Those young strikers that we talk about, that we feel that probably by this time, because you know, there has been so much talk about players like Kylian Mbappe and all of them, that Neymar, that when they, in the next few years, they will be competing, probably, you know, they will have eclipse. And these guys are still dominating. After we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, they are still a force to reckon with. Why those other ones where we feel that in years to come are going to probably eclipse them, they're still playing second fiddle to them.
They're still playing, and most of them don't score as much as even 30 goals per season. Now, for most of you that didn't get to see that hat-trick, let's show you the highlights.
Ronaldo! Unmarked in the middle. Out came penalty Juventus. Fantastic response here from the champions, and from that man in particular to Ronaldo. And Ronaldo! Hat-trick! Just a class from a player at the very a masterpiece of a goal.
Absolutely spot on, Kule. I mean, I think we are so blessed to watch the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and the most time people forget to talk about Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I mean, these guys are great as far as world football is concerned in modern era. Maybe the likes of Mbappe and Haaland will grow to be the greats of their generation. But I mean, we celebrate these guys week in, week out because of all the beauty they brought to football. Now let's talk about what went down last week in the CAF election. Now we have new CAF president is from South Africa, and of course President Motsepe, Patrice Motsepe, would be handling the helm of affairs of CAF. But what most important is the fact that we now have a Nigerian in the FIFA Executive Council, talking about Aaron Amaju Melvin Pinnick. And we make a big deal of it because we know how difficult it is to get to that position. But let's talk about the CAF presidency. Now, the task of projecting African football onto the global stage has begun following the election of Patrice Motsepe as CAF president. Now, he's not alone in that council. We have Maturin Dikaios of Benin Republic, Isha Johnson of Sierra Leone, Fozi Laja of Morocco, Amaju Melvin Pinnick, Nigeria, and Momotu Toure of Mali. Now, we all join Hane Aborida of Egypt on FIFA's council, and Kule, it's a big one for us.
Yeah, something to really smile about. I'm very happy for Amaju Melvin Pinnick. When you look at all the travels that went down when he was the first vice president of CAF, and you know, a lot of issues that went down with it, where he was given a suspension. It was at the end of the day, he was shown the exit door, and a lot of all of those things happening. And right now is the third Nigerian to attain that position in FIFA. Remember the case of Amos Adamu, and also Oyo as well. And you know, it's always very good when we play politics, and of course we play football. Then we should also be able to play politics that should do with football as well. I'm saying some names. Some individuals are coming from Comoros, and I begin to wonder, does Comoros play football? I see some countries where we have top executives, you know, are coming from those countries, and we don't have a Nigerian. I think that a lot of kudos and encomiums should be showered on Amaju Melvin Pinnick, because he has been able to play the politics very well, and we are happy that we hope that he's going to hoist the flag of the country very high. You remember what happened with Amos Adamu. It's not a pleasant one to remember. We hope Amaju Melvin Pinnick will be able to get the job done. And for the CAF presidency, Brownson, I'm very happy that we have a new man in the helms. And right now, the good thing also, Brownson, is the fact that Motsepe is the 9th richest man in Africa. What that simply means is that he is not going to be the kind of man, is completely different from the kind of men we've seen in the past. In the past. Apart from the fact that he's from the Anglophone side, you know, we've always been having those from the French-speaking countries occupying that position. And Motsepe will not be involved. That's what I feel. Because he's rich, He doesn't have to involve himself in bribery and all of that. That merge the tenor of Ahmad. I think when you talk about when Issa Hayatou was the president of CAF, we felt there were a lot of misappropriations, and at the end of the day was giving the Putava spending almost 2 decades. And right now we had a young man, full of life, and we felt that
it's early days. It's early days. You know, sometimes when you go into an office, you don't know what to expect. I'm going to take it on. I think it's early days. I think it's early days to say that this will not happen. Let him convince us. Let his performance tells us.
He has been in charge of a club in South Africa for 2 decades right now.
Okay.
I don't know if they are not doing all that badly. And he has said he's not just going to be the president of CAF alone. He wants all the chairman of all associations all over Africa to work and partner with him. And that's the hallmark of
a good leader.
A good leader.
Time will tell, definitely.
I think that it's going to do good for African football.
I'm really looking out for Mosepe. I really hope that he delivers in his promise. I think one of the things he said he's going to look at is the finances and the spendings of CAF. He said that's on top of his burner. So let's see how well that goes. There were a lot of misappropriation in the last administration. He's saying there's going to be structure in spending, transparency. If he brings that, well, maybe we'll consider like 3-4 more tenors for him. Let's take a very quick break. We'll be back after this timeout. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now let's talk about the Super Eagles, the AFCON qualifiers that would be coming up this month. It's a double-header. Now the first one will be away from home against Benin Republic, and the big one right here in Lagos would see Lesotho be our host at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. I'm sure Lagos fans are bracing up for that. Now to that effect, Super Eagles of Nigeria coach led by General Raw released a list of players that would be prosecuting this game. Now on the goalkeeping department, we have Madika Okoye, Uzoho, and Noble. Now, let's run through the defense line. William Troost Ekong, Kenneth Omeruo, Leon Balogun, Chigozia Wazim, Jamilu Collins, Sanusi Olaina, and Tyrone Ebuehi makes up the defense line. I think the defense, very exciting players, and I think all those guys in defense really deserve to be there. Now, in the midfield row, we have just 4 players invited. Wilfred Ndidi, Ogenekare Tebo, Shemi Ajayi, Abdullahi Shehu, and Joe Aribo. 5 midfielders. Forward line, exciting, and the most controversial name in this list is Ahmed Musa. A lot of people have talked about the fact that Musa doesn't have a club, that he shouldn't have been invited, but we'll get to that. Moses Simon, Alex Iwobi, Samuel Kalu, Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Iheanacho, Samuel Chukwueze, and of course, Omar makes up the list. Now, Kule, quickly, which of the players you think shouldn't have been invited to this list?
Yeah, all the players invited are very good. At least they are playing well for their respective clubs. And you know, General Raw, most of the time when he invites players, he knows, he's well assured that the players are playing well for their respective clubs. But for the player, the captain of the side, Ahmed Musa, the fact that he doesn't have a club right now, and we have, you know, there's been a lot of controversy as regards why Paul Onuachu was omitted, and we have Ahmed Musa, who is the captain of the side and who is without a club right now. But then you really have to look at things from different perspectives. And when you look at the dedication and the commitment of players, you always want to. The coaches are always they have their reservations. I think that is the reason why the coach of the side, Genotro, has decided to extend the invitation to Ahmed Musa, despite the fact that he doesn't have a club right now. The question is, probably there wouldn't have been so much noise. Umar Sadiq of Almeria is playing well and is scoring week in, week out for in the Segunda with Almeria. Probably that's my take, Branson. If he had been dropped, I probably will add Paul Onuachu, who is the leading scorer for Nigeria in Europe right now. If we had him invited at the expense of Sadiq Umar, probably we would have been talking about, you know, the aspersions would not have been thrown at him. And I feel very bad for Ahmed Musa because, you know, this is a player who has served the country diligently. Yeah. He has been very, very consistent. I remember a lot of instances where this man would have chosen not to play for Nigeria again. Even when he was at his peak, but he opted to stay. We remember the case of when Sunday Olise was in charge, and then they gave he was given the nod to lead. He was given the captainship armband at the expense of Vincent Enyama. But after he was fired, the next coach he took the band away from Ahmed Musa.
I think he voluntarily returned it. Yes.
And if there was no anger, there was no feels in him. Once you tell him, go and do this, he goes to the field, and you always see that passion, that zeal, that enthusiasm in Ahmed Musa. So I think the issue of Ahmed Musa has been overflowed. We should take things easy with him. The fact that he doesn't have a club, West Ham United, I think West Ham United, Sam Allardyce said, West Bromwich Albion, I beg your pardon, said they don't have the finances to actually, to secure that deal. Not that he didn't do well, not that he doesn't deserve a place in the team, but they don't have the finances, that they have to sell players, that if they had thought about this earlier, probably they would have been able to make it happen. But because of that, I think it doesn't still take away the fact that Ahmed Musa is a good player. Yeah,
definitely. And then last week on the show, we also told you that Nigerian Super Eagles Supporters Club are bridging up. We're just hoping that there will be confirmation to see if there will be Supporters Club allowed, especially on our home soil, where the Eagles will be hosting Lesotho. Let's see how well that goes.